Darren was standing by the car with his brother, bags loaded, about to leave for a week-long holiday. That nagging feeling again, a little mental checklist spun up. "Hey," he said, gently. "I think we might have left something on inside. I think it's that bathroom faucet. Let's just go check, it'll just take a minute." His brother frowned. "There's no need to overthink it. Come on, we're already packed up." He hesitated, wanting to push, then swallowed it. Fine. Not worth the argument. A week later, they came home to find the water faucet indeed was left on. And later saw that the bill had exploded. Hundreds of dollars down the drain. And rather than admit even the faintest possibility that the tap should have been checked again before leaving for their trip, his brother immediately snapped, "It's probably because Mom came by without telling and left something running." Typical. But their mother hadn't touched a thing. But it was easier to deflect blame onto someone else than face the truth. Darren stood in the hallway, staring at the absurd spike on the water bill. He didn't even say anything at first. Just held it up. Let it speak for itself. Darren blinked. "She didn't even come over," he said, voice flat. "I've checked with her, and out security cameras didn't show her coming by." But the damage was done, not just the wasted money, but the way his brother refused to even consider that maybe, just maybe, it could have been avoided. That maybe Darren had been right to suggest a quick check. There was the morning rush. Ian was half jogging down the street, bag slung over one shoulder. Already late for work. Heart thudding. A woman stepped directly into his path, hand raised, and blocking his way by moving side to side as he moved.
"Excuse me."
"Sorry, I'm rushing for work, I can't stop right now," he blurted, polite but breathless. She glared, voice rising instantly.
"I'm not selling you anything, you know."
He blinked, sweat running down his face. "As I said, I'm rushing for time. There's literally people sitting calmly on that bench right there. Why single out the person obviously in a hurry?" Her face twisted.
"You crazy man,"
she barked. Ian kept walking. Didn't look back. Why did that blow up so fast? He wasn't rude. He was in a rush, clearly, bag swinging, sweating, half jogging. He even said sorry. But instead of reading the situation, she jumped straight to assumptions. Like she was offended just because he didn't stop. Like she thought his polite brush-off was some personal insult, and then had the nerve to call him crazy when she didn't get her way. She never even listened, just reacted. Assumed the worst, then lashed out. And somehow he became the bad guy. And the people around just stared. Blank. Silent. Not one person asked why she picked the only guy clearly in a rush when a dozen others were sitting calmly on that bench. Why is this normal now? Ian thought. And it's not just her. It's everywhere. People snapping over nothing, reacting without thinking, then flipping the script when reality doesn't match their assumptions. And the scariest part? We've started accepting it. Like this is just how things are now. But if we keep letting blind assumptions and entitlement replace basic empathy and awareness, if people keep punishing others for having boundaries or just existing differently, we're headed somewhere dark. Because when crazy just means someone didn't do what I wanted.
John sat hunched over his laptop, eyes tired from hours of scrolling through job listings. He was looking for freelance or temp work. Just honest work, making honest money. But honesty seemed rare these days. Yet another listing appeared. The job post was again vague. Administrative assistant needed ASAP, good pay. No company name. No rate. No details about payment. Not even a proper job description. Bruh, John muttered, rubbing his forehead. Why is it that these job posts never properly state the company name, pay rate, or when the payment will be made? These are the most basic things. Maybe it was just a small business without the polish. So he went ahead and sent a polite, professional message. "Hello. I'm interested in this job position. I saw that it's a temp role, which works perfectly for me. I'm currently freelancing to supplement my income, and this aligns well with my skill set. I have 10 years of experience in this field. I'm meticulous, reliable, and always deliver quality work. That said, I noticed that the listing didn't include details about the pay rate or when the payment is issued. Could I clarify these first? As a job seeker, I believe this is basic information we need upfront, so we can make informed decisions." Fair, respectful message. Then the reply came quickly. "Send resume." That was it. No greeting. No name. No company. No clarification on basic info that was supposed to clarify at the beginning. Zero effort. John stared at the screen, baffled. "Wait, you're asking for personal information? Without even telling me who you are? No name, no company details, not even a display picture? What kind of operation is this? Still giving them the benefit of the doubt, he replied again. Still polite, still professional, explaining why clarity and transparency are essential before handing over sensitive personal information. The response? Job taken. Just like that. No explanation. No conversation. Just a curt, dismissive shutdown. And this wasn't an isolated experience. In the days and weeks that followed, John applied to several similar positions. All of them followed the same bizarre, frustrating pattern. Vague postings. No clear company info. When he asked reasonable questions, what's the pay? Who am I speaking to? What's the job scope? The responses were either evasive or condescending. You local? What? It's in my profile. Why are you asking that? When can you start? John thought to himself. Start what? You haven't even told me what the job is. When he pushed back, again respectfully, they would ghost him completely or say something absurd like, come down for interview. John thought to himself, come down? For a job you won't even explain. 20 kilometers away? You expect me to waste time and money before giving me basic info? Let us know your schedule so we can start planning. John thought to himself, planning what? You haven't even clarified the basic info up front for me to know what is this all about first, and now you're asking to plan for schedule already? John wasn't just frustrated. He was disturbed. The job market felt less like a pool of opportunities and more like a carnival of manipulation, filled with smoke, mirrors, and power games. What used to be a straightforward exchange, labor for pay, had become a murky battlefield where job seekers had to beg for information they should have been given from the start. Basic transparency was treated like a luxury, and asking for it made you difficult. He began to wonder, were these even real jobs? Or were some of these just phishing attempts? Or sleazy middlemen collecting resumes like data harvesters? The worst part? They made him feel like the problem for daring to ask for fairness. But then something even more confusing happened. As John was doing a rabbit hole dive online, cross-checking company names, looking up people on LinkedIn, hunting for the actual websites, not the fake-looking ones, and tracing email addresses and so on. Slowly, to his surprise, he found out that a lot of these companies, they were actually real. Not huge, sure. Maybe scrappy, maybe disorganized. But legit. Registered. Active with actual business operations. Not obvious scams. Which made it even more insane. Why were they acting like this? Why was the bar for professionalism underground? Why did basic transparency feel like a fight? And that's when it clicked. John started hearing from other freelancers, contractors, part-timers, all kinds of gig workers trying to stay afloat. And the stories? Repeated like a bad song stuck on loop. Roughly half of them said they'd been screwed over at some point. Not mildly inconvenienced. Actually shortchanged. Scope creeped like you wouldn't believe. Promised one task, then 3 more got added without renegotiation. Vague start dates. Sudden deadlines. And the worst, work handed in and then the employer just disappeared. No payment. No apology. No accountability. Some were told, oh, we didn't approve this, after they already did the job. Others were promised payment next week for months. Some kept waiting. And here's the thing that really gets under your skin. A lot of these people weren't desperate rookies. They were skilled, responsible, just trying to do honest work for honest pay. How did this become normal? John wondered. When did we decide that the default behavior in hiring is to lie, ghost, dodge, deflect, and then act like you're doing someone a favor by giving them scraps? Like seriously, stop and think about it. Would you accept this if it was your sibling going through it? Your partner? Your kid? You'd be livid. You'd say, that's messed up. No one should be treated that way. So why is it okay when it's you? And here's the wildest part. These companies that are acting all high and mighty while dodging accountability, they're not just hurting workers, they're hurting themselves. Big time. When you burn through decent people because you couldn't be bothered to clarify a pay rate or honor an agreement, word gets around. People stop applying. Talented workers leave the industry altogether. Clients stop trusting you. Projects slip. Morale dies. And suddenly you're left wondering why no one wants to work these days. It's not the workers, it's you. If you treat people like they're disposable, don't be surprised when no one sticks around. That's not a mystery, that's cause and effect. And even if everything seems fine, really, ask yourself, have your company been replacing workers constantly and end up wasting a lot of time, money, and effort? Is the quality of work forever mediocre or even low without you realizing it because you refuse to see reality for what it is? He only ever loved two things: art and writing, not for praise, not for trends, just brush and ink, thought and breath, poured into silence, year after year. He built alone, quietly, with never-ending passion, pages filled, sketchbooks stacked, and when he finally stepped into the light, they silently scoffed. They didn't ask. They didn't listen. They didn't care. Still doing that art thing? Cute poem. Did AI help? Oh, another template? That's adorable. What do you do again? Oh, did you just start this new hobby? Always downplayed, mocked, and shrugged off, over and over, until the message was loud and clear. We don't want to take you seriously. You don't matter. But they liked what he made. Oh, they liked it plenty, just not enough to give him his name back. They stole it. The lines, the phrases, the style, the soul. Polished it, posted it, called it their own. No credit, no recognition, just a slow erasure of the person behind the beauty. And he didn't rage. He didn't beg. He just stopped. Stopped talking, just quietly doing his own work. Shut the door. Withdrew the best parts of himself from the people that refused to look past the surface. Because what's the point of offering your heart when people only want it scavenged and silent? But here's the twist they never saw coming. Far away, across oceans, strangers found his work. And they saw him, not just the output. Him, his intent, his depth, his truth. They reached out with wonder, not mockery. With respect, not theft. He was quoted, celebrated, thanked, for the same work his own people mocked. And the cruelest irony? The only ones who understood his worth were the ones who didn't grow up beside him. But it never had to be like this. Things could have been different, better. Everyone would have been happier if they had just taken the time to ask, to listen, to learn what moved him. Not with condescension, but with curiosity and genuine care. And it's not just for him, but for everyone. Everyone has been starved of truly being seen and being heard. Because when people feel seen, they thrive. And when we take the time to understand each other's real passions, to truly know one another, we don't just uplift individuals. We build something far more precious. A community of trust, of shared strength, of people who respect, care, and rely on each other. Of people who understands each other better and live more meaningful lives together. Not just for what they produce, but for who they are. Mockery destroys that. Dismissiveness poisons it. Theft hollows it out from the inside. And so, when the light goes out, when the voices grow quiet, don't act surprised.
And these aren't just some unique curse that only followed these people. It's happening around us. In families where simple precautions or heartfelt concerns get brushed aside until damage piles up and no one wants to admit they could have easily avoided it. In the streets where strangers explode in self-righteous defensiveness instead of pausing to understand. In workplaces where even the most basic clarifying questions are treated like threats. Among friends where authenticity kills appreciation and shallow banter replaces any deep trust. The consequences? So many things missed. Opportunities lost because no one listened. So many things broken. Systems, businesses, relationships, all cracking under the strain of pride and willful ignorance. So many shallow, performative bonds, where people smile and joke together but never really grow or protect each other. And mental health quietly eroded. People anxious, second-guessing, resentful, lonely, stuck in mediocre loops, not realizing how much stems from living in an environment that refuses to hear, learn, or evolve. Imagine how many heartbreaks, poor results, ruined careers, lost friendships, and silent hospital rooms echoing with regret could be completely avoided. If people simply paused their damn pride for one moment and listened. If they let someone finish explaining why the tap should be checked. If they took 30 seconds to hear a stressed-out guy say, "Not now for good reasons." If they answered reasonable job questions instead of deflecting in panic. If they valued a passionate person's skills instead of quietly harvesting his ideas like crows. How many families and friends would be closer with deeper relationships and not shallow and performative? How many businesses wouldn't have collapsed? How many young people wouldn't be drowning in quiet despair, feeling perpetually dismissed, gaslit, underestimated? All because people would rather protect their fragile ego than open their minds for just a breath. Imagine how many heartbreaks, bankruptcies, ruined careers, Lost friendships could be avoided if people simply learn to pause their pride for one damn moment and listen. If you're more concerned of winning rather than focusing on the problem objectively, you are only lying yourselves and causing everyone, including you, problems.